Welcome to Feel Good Fridays here on the Kneecap Network, where we discuss people and things that make us feel good right here in Nashville. I'm your host, Cameron McCaslin. Joining me today is my co-host, Big Fella, Kneecap board member and star of the hit series Cooking with Big Fella. Welcome back to the show. How are you today?
Man, I'm good, Cam. How you doing, man?
Man, I'm making it. Like I say, feeling good on this Friday. Excited for what we've got up today. Today on Feel Good Friday, we're discussing the upcoming 48-hour film festival tips and tricks panel live event that is happening right at the Kneecap station on Saturday, July 24th, 2021, starting at 5:30 p.m. Joining us for the conversation today are Jennifer Bonnier and Ken Conrad from the Nashville 48-Hour Film Festival. Let's start with you, Jennifer. Say, a producer of all things producible, Jennifer has a love of storytelling in all forms. Jennifer now runs the Nashville 48-Hour Film Festival as the city producer and is the graveyard shift programmer for the Nashville Film Festival. She's made a name for herself as a writer, director, and producer, developing award-winning commercials, music videos, and both short films and feature-length films right here in Nashville. How are you today, Jennifer?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to be here and talk about movies.
Hey, we're so happy to have you. I'm really excited for this event coming up, and I'm just excited to hear you guys talk about all the great things you're doing over at the 48. So let me also introduce Ken Conrad, who's competed in the 48-Hour Film Festival project as an editor and colorist on numerous winning teams, in addition to countless award-winning commercials, TV shows, and feature-length films not made in 48 hours. Ken loves editing so much that he actually calls himself an editor at his day job at Five Stone Studios. But he's much more than that. He's the technical director for the Nashville 48-Hour Film Project. Ken, how are you today?
Doing well. Thanks for having us. This is gonna be fun.
Absolutely. So the 48-Hour Film Project's mission is to advance filmmaking and promote filmmakers through its festival competition, and the project encourages filmmakers and would-be filmmakers to get out there and make movies. In addition to the yearly competition, they promote several workshops to educate and empower filmmakers here in Nashville. I think what you guys are doing is very much in line with what we're trying to do over at Kneecap, which is give people the means to make their stuff and have it put in front of an audience. So let's talk about that a little bit. So Ken, give me a little bit on like why you think it is important for people to have a place where at least once a year they can go and make a movie.
I think it opens up and levels the playground for what people can do, because it's a very low bar for entry fee. Everything has to be volunteer. So I think it gives anybody the opportunity to make a film for, anything they want to make, as long as it's within the rules. But I think that's the biggest benefit. And there's so many people that love doing that. So it creates that community. And then you also have the ability to meet new people and kind of expand the knowledge base that's in your community around you, and meet other teams and make friends and make films. Just have a good weekend, have fun,
Yeah, absolutely. And so Jennifer, I know for you, before you were the city producer, you actually competed and won a couple of the earlier 48s. Can you talk to me about how that kind of like that part of it for you kind of transitioned to what you're doing now?
Yeah, absolutely. So as you said, I did compete. I went to school here in Nashville. I went to Watkins College. And so, I was just a little timid filmmaker, film student trying to figure out who I was and what I wanted to make. And the 48 was a really nice, safe place for me to just like make films with people and just not have any kind of that attached anxiety of, oh my God, it's going to take months and months and months. It's like, it's 2 days of your life. You go out there, you try your hardest. And when we won, it gave us a sense of just so much encouragement that you can't get. It just justifies your art and justifies who you are and the track that you're on. And then the amazing thing about the 48-Hour Film Project is, yes, it is here in Nashville, but it's also a traveling international film competition. So when you win in your local city, you then go on to compete in what's called Filmapalooza, which is the international level of it. And so we went on with several of our films and got to compete at that national level, and actually got the opportunity to have our films screen at the Cannes Film Festival, because that's one of the ways that the 48-Hour gets the films out there. They select 10 to 20 films each year from Filmapalooza, from that international level, to go on and screen at Cannes. So that was just like a huge honor to know that something we had made just as film students had the opportunity to go all the way to France.
That's fantastic. So, big fella, you ever made a movie as fast as 48 hours?
Man, I participated in a couple 48-hour film festivals as talent, I guess. I was just an actor in it, but yes, man, it's a crazy experience to watch people literally come together and in 2 days go from nothing to everything. It's the coolest process.
For sure. So, I love the 48-hour film festival in the sense that it always organizes a thing. I've talked about this with other filmmakers. Like, I feel like in the past for me, it's been relatively, I don't want to say easy, but but I'm really good at getting organized, getting people together and making something happen. But what I've seen in the 48 is it gives people a date on a calendar and they say, okay, I'm going to aim to get this thing put together and started for this, and I'm going to aim to get it finished. And there are people that it's like, I would say amateur filmmakers that do it. There's more professional filmmakers who, take a beat out of their, maybe their creative life where they're doing commercials or they're, doing things like that. And they just make something that's just created for the sake of creating. And it really kind of gets those juices flowing, in their brain and kind of gives them a chance to reset. But in addition to that, I think one of the cool things that you guys have been doing the last few years is putting together all of these different panels, throughout the year and like training, spaces and things like that. Jennifer, can you tell me a little bit more about that, like how that started and some of the things that you've done in the past?
Yeah, definitely. So when we decided to take over the 48 here in Nashville, we definitely came at it from a filmmaker's perspective of what could we have had before we dove into the 48? What did we want to see happen? And so some of the things that we've started our workshop this year, it's going to be a webinar. It's actually just happened. So we just missed it, but it was an online webinar and it went really well. What it's all about is just us taking alumni from the 48 and having them speak one-on-one about like, this is what you need to know about directing a film in 48 hours, writing one, producing one, the paperwork that goes along with specifically a 48, and just really educating people on the process, because while it is really fun that like the 48 exists and it gives you this nice little sandbox, you really got to understand that sandbox if you want to play in it and be a strong competitor. So we wanted to make sure that those resources were out there for people. We've also done our tips and tricks panel and screening, which is coming up in just a day. We're really excited about this one because this is where we actually take people, again, alumni who have competed, and show films. So what we do is we screen one of their films from each of the panelists, and then we have a conversation with them in front of a live audience, discuss all of the questions that we have burning about how did you actually accomplish that amazing song? Like, you got musical, how did you write a song in 48 hours and get it filmed? Or how on earth did you get that location? Or I can't believe that performance you got. And so it's really fun to just break it down on a one-on-one level with, we've got an actor line, we have an actor lined up, we have a director lined up, we have a writer lined up. It's just fun to kind of see all those perspectives. And
I think it's also important having those events because it gives people that want to come learn more actually meet other teams or other team members or people that are looking for teams to meet teams. So I think it's kind of dual purpose of learning and just getting to hang out with other filmmakers.
Absolutely. We have some teams each year that are 1 to 2 people, and I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they go without sleeping, just 2 people. But we have teams sometimes that are 30 people. And so it's really a nice opportunity for maybe an actor that hasn't found a team to find one, or a DP that's really wanting to shoot the next project and is just looking for a team to join.
Back in 2019, when I first came on to Kneecap, kind of the first event that we did was with the 48-hour film festival and the tips and tricks panel. Then, of course, last year everything kind of got soured with the pandemic and we were shut down, so we didn't get to have the event. So I'm really excited to bring everyone back into the PEG studio there at Nashville State's campus and just kind of let them see all the different things that can be there. Kind of one of the things I noticed at the one we did 2 years ago, just like you said, you had all these filmmakers meeting other filmmakers and actors meeting other actors and actors meeting filmmakers and all those great things. But we also were kind of able to share in the idea that we made that as a one-day event where people could come and see it live, just like this one's going to be, but we also taped it and we've been running it on rerun for now 2 years. Great thing about this one that we're about to do is we're going to be, putting this out live, both to the web and to broadcast as it's happening, and we'll be recording it and putting it on the air again, for the times to come. So some really cool stuff, happening right now with this tips and tricks panel. And again, I want to put the date out there on, tomorrow, Saturday, July 24th. If you're watching this live on Friday, then, come down to the PEG studio at Nashville State's campus. We open the doors at 5:30. And, you can get involved. So, big fella, are you going to be there for the event?
Man, I'm going to be there for the event, man. I love seeing large groups of creative people come together. That's where the magic actually happens. It's not the films are cool, but it's the teams coming together to do the films. And like you say, the actors and directors and all these different people meeting each other and getting those opportunities. That's the part that like grows the community. So I'm gonna be there, man.
With all this, there's all kinds of stories, but Jennifer, and I'll go to you with this question, but if it's someone who's coming for the first time, if they've never made a film for the 48-hour film festival or ever a film even at all, what's the number one piece of advice you would give them to, if they've already decided they're going to get involved, what do they need to do to make that happen?
Oh, that's such a good question. Well, if you're just going to make a film and you've made the choice, I would say don't let anything stand in your way. Like it's so easy in the filmmaking process to give up. And that's all I can say is please don't give up, especially on a 48. If your first film is a 48 or this is your first time doing a 48, there is going to hit a point, especially on day one. It's going to be 3 a.m. You haven't gotten your script written yet. Don't give up. It's going to be fine. Go to one of your other team members, pass off the script, get somebody's opinion. You have a team for a reason, whether it's one person or, like I said, a team of 30. Lean on those people that you're making this film with. You're there and you've brought them on as collaborators. So lean on them and just don't give up. Filmmaking is an incredibly stressful process, as we all know, but it is unbelievably rewarding if you can find the energy to just pull through.
Right on. So Ken, I know you've made obviously a lot of different stuff as well. What do you think the difference is between making something as your day job where you have a timeline, but it's usually not 48 hours? What are the kind of the pressure that gets put on whenever you're in a 48-hour setting that you don't exactly have whenever you're making something that may take a month to put together?
I think the biggest thing that coming from an editor of 48-hour films to being an editor of other things, a lot of the things that I learned while doing 48-hour films is how to think more quickly about decisions that I need to make, understanding the big difference between is this better or different. And I would get stuck so much on making something different but not actually making it better that you run into problems with being late. And then also I think in a lot of ways, it made me more of an instinctual editor rather than really, getting into my head about how to cut this or how to make this flow and just kind of go with what feels right. And that actually translated a lot to, other aspects of my job outside of the 48. And I think it made me a faster editor because of that. I know I've talked to other people in other disciplines in the film community and very similar things. A lot of writers have learned to write more quickly, getting first drafts out so much, just getting the idea out of your head is important. And I think directors have learned to pivot quicker, think quicker, problem solve quicker on sets. And it's one of those weird things. Like once you start doing that, it's almost impossible to go back to doing it the old way that you did it. I think for me, that's been the biggest, other than, the people that I've met and things like that, that's probably career-wise, one of the biggest improvements.
The thing about any movie that you make, what I've learned as a filmmaker is, you're kind of stuck with what you have made for the rest of time. It's always part of your catalog. Whenever people start looking at things that you've made in the past, and what I learned a long time ago was like, you can get real hung up making the same movie for a very long time, picking at every little thing and trying to make something perfect. And as anyone who's ever made something knows, you're never going to get exactly the thing that you thought you were going to get or want. It's always just sometimes it's better, sometimes it's worse, but it's always just a little bit off, you know, and the goal is to try to get it to the thing that you set out to do. So how do you think that, like, in a 48-hour environment, how do you think that people are able to let go of that perfectionist mentality and just get something done? And Jennifer, we'll go to you on that.
Oh, how do people do that? I mean, you've kind of got to understand the game you're coming to play, I think is the best part. It's just the 48 does provide that sandbox. And if you, like I said earlier, like know and understand your sandbox, then it's kind of easy to walk in and be like, well, I guess I could obsess over this edit, or I could turn my film in on time. And we've actually had conversations with people the night of where they're calling and freaking out because they just can't get this thing exported and they have one edit already done, because we always recommend, a little tip for everybody right now, we always recommend that like 2 hours before the deadline, export something, whether it's perfect or not, export it so you have a film, and then keep working as long as you can. And we've had people call and they're just like, yeah, but that sound effect wasn't in there and this is gonna like make or break it. It's like, well, you know, it's a 48. We can all understand the limitations of a 48. Just get it done, get it in there. That's what it's all about. Just push yourself, encourage yourself to embrace the timeline and get that film turned in. And just, you know, in the end, that film I was referencing with the sound effect, it was like, it didn't matter. That film was incredible. Nobody cared, nobody noticed, because the film itself was great. And that person just needed to put that to the side and realize that they made a great film despite that one sound effect.
You know, I know one of the other big aspects of what you guys do that kind of empowers filmmakers is giving them the chance to put it in front of an audience. You know, I think one of the things about what we're doing at Kneecap is great because, like, we're able to not only, you know, get something made, but, like, you know, it's going to be on television. Like, people are going to watch it at home. With you guys, it's like you're actually going to put them in a movie theater, sitting amongst their peers and family and things like that. Talk to me about how you think that empowers filmmakers, Jennifer, and, like, you know, what does that give that just putting it up online and then, like, just hoping someone finds it? You know, what do you think the differential is?
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know about you, but I grew up going to movie theaters, and there's just, first of all, the nostalgic part of it of like, there is nothing cooler than going into a giant dark room, having the lights go down, having the screen come on, the big sound system, having the audience reactions. There's just nothing like it. And so as a filmmaker, you're never really going to know whether or not your film is landing with your audience if you're not there to connect with them and see it in person. And like you said, putting stuff online is great. You can see comments, you can see likes, you can see views. You've got a lot of statistics and information, but it's not the same as being in the room and hearing those laughs. Or, you know, I've made plenty of films where I thought it was a really funny film, but people weren't laughing at the things that I thought were funny and they were laughing at other things. It was like, oh, I had no idea that that was a funny line. And it's just, it's a really easy way for you to get a little bit of it's a little like self-reflection and a little bit of immediate feedback on how your film is going that you just don't get when you put it up online.
Big fella, same thing for you. Like, what do you think? What's the difference between, like, seeing something with an audience versus seeing it, like, on a computer screen?
Man, I tell you personally, with an audience is really cool, but it's kind of weird too, because you got to kind of watch yourself and what you made. It's a whole different experience to watch what you made or you as an actor and watch the reactions. It's just an interesting experience that, I mean, you got to experience that. It's a really cool experience. Most people don't get to ever experience that, especially in this day and age, like she said, with people, everything online, or, you know, you putting it up somewhere. You don't get to experience that. That's a different thing right there. I actually have a question for y'all. So, as, say, I'm just a random aspiring actor sitting here watching this Feel Good Friday, and I don't know much about the 48. I've heard about it, but, you know, it's this big thing in your mind. How would a random person get involved, like a random actor or director? Do you have to come with a team already, or will you put somebody on the team? Is it kind of like a pickup game?
You absolutely do not have to have a team in order to find a team, if that makes sense. So if you are a single individual or even two people, but you don't fully have a team yet, we have a lot of networking events like we were talking about. We've so far already held a casting call for people to submit online submissions, which again, that's still open. You can go to Nashville 48-hour film. Sorry, you can go to 48hourfilm.com/Nashville and learn more about how to submit if you are an actor looking to join a team. And we've had a coffee meet and greet. We've had a beer meetup. We're going to have this amazing tips and tricks panel and screening, which is a great opportunity for you to come and meet people. And of course, you can always email us, reach out through the website. We cannot help you make a team, but we can introduce you to teams that already exist and say like, hey, because we can see how many people are on each team and say like, hey, I noticed you guys don't have a sound person yet. This sound person's looking. Are you interested? Would you like to meet up? So we like to help facilitate.
So you're telling me right now that somebody watching this on this Feel Good Friday, they can actually go to the website and they can say, I would like to be part of the 48-hour film festival, and they can throw their hat in the game.
100%, yes.
Wow, opportunity knocks.
At the same time, I want to take a moment to say, because I know, again, when we did this event in 2019, we had a lot of filmmakers come in and they were able to sign up and take the classes at Kneecap and get trained there. Ken, I know you participated in that as well before we did the show. And I do want to talk a little bit about that. But one of the cool things that I think what we can provide for people who come through and take our classes is if you don't have the means, we rent out things like cameras and microphones and lights and things like that for filmmakers to check out for basically usually a week at a time, but throughout the 48, like we try to have them available so people can take them home, get to know it a little bit and put that stuff together. So that's a way that we're able to kind of help out, and they can book the studio, that weekend and, shoot something actually there at our, place and put it together too. We haven't exactly done that just yet, again, because last year the pandemic hit us so hard, but I'm hoping that, going forward, we're able to do that. So just want to put it out there for anyone who's watching at home. Come get involved at Kneecap because it can help you get your film made over at the 48. But Ken, talk to me a little bit about that experience and kind of how whenever you came through the Kneecap program, kind of what you were trying to do, because we were making that show for television at the time, but kind of what you saw that may could help a filmmaker in the 48.
Yeah, definitely. I think, going through that course is a great crash course in all things related to making something. And I think that's unbelievably valuable. Like to anybody, stepping in from knowing nothing to maybe you've only run camera or maybe you've written something, but being able to step through each role of that is great, because I think until you do something like that, you can't really understand like what it takes to do all of this stuff. And I think that's so valuable. Like, I always say to like all of our interns and stuff, you should write something, direct something, shoot something, edit something, because that's how you learn how those roles work. And in any role that you're in, if you understand other aspects of it, it helps you do your job. And I think that's kind of one of the fun things about going through that course is you have to act, direct, shoot, edit. You're doing it all. And I think that's really important. Plus the benefit of then being able to utilize that stuff for any of your other projects or meeting people in those groups, I think is a great thing too, because there's, a bunch of people I met, some people I knew, some new people. I think that's a lot of fun. And I think that's something that if you are wanting to do this, you should definitely jump in and try and get your feet in there and have a good time. You'll come out with something. It'll be kind of fun.
We're on the back half of the show at this point. So I want to make sure that we're letting everyone know again. So Jennifer, I'll let you tell us this time where we're doing this and when we're doing this, and give me the website too. So if people want to take a look at the 48-hour film festival at home before they show up, how can they find you guys?
Yes, so we are having our tips and tricks screening and panel tomorrow, Saturday, July 24th from 5:30 to 9. 5:30 doors open, 6 p.m. the event starts. It's happening over at Kneecap at the Peg Studio. You guys better be there. It was so much fun 2 years ago because we couldn't do it last year, but so much fun. Cannot wait to pack the house and have everybody come there and watch some amazing films, talk about films, find some teams to participate in the 48. If you're interested in learning about the 48, go to 48hourfilm.com/Nashville.
And get there early because we pretty much filled it up last time. So
We did, yeah.
if you want to see, get there early.
One of the things that we like to do on every episode of Feel Good Friday is talk about the one thing that we're feeling good about, on the Friday that's not exactly pertinent to the thing that's happening. Not so much a plug, but in your personal life. So I'm going to start with Big Fella because he's done this a couple times before. But just kind of want to just take a moment and talk about something that we're thankful for or something that we're feeling good about on this Friday. And if you've got something that you're working on and you want to plug it, this is a good time to do it. So Big Fellas, you kick us off.
Man, I am feeling good about, all the way honest, my daughter just turned 15 and I'm really happy about that. It makes, I feel old, but I feel happy. And, the kids are like some of the best thing that we do in our life if they turn out right, and she's turning out all right so far. So I'm feeling good.
Right on. And Jennifer, let's go to you.
I am feeling actually so good right now. I just got off a film shoot. Haven't been on one in a very long time, of course, because of COVID, for some dear friends of mine. Spencer Fritz and Amanda Dillingham just went out and did it like we were talking about earlier. They didn't give up. They just shot a pilot for a TV show that they're hoping to get picked up. It's called Co-ed. It's about flag football. And oh my God, I had the best time ever.
Ken, how about you?
Yeah, I think first of all, because it's Friday, that is nice. Secondly, we just wrapped up, I think, 3 different projects at work. So it's not that's like the 2 best parts of that is starting a new project and finishing it. I think those are always great. But yeah, and then looking forward to tomorrow. I think that's going to be exciting.
I will say for myself, I'm feeling good right now because Kneecap's been back open for right around a month at this point. And so we're starting to see our members come back and shooting new shows and putting things together. We had our first training program, back again a couple weeks back. And we've got another one scheduled for the end of this month and one booked for every month till the end of the year right now. So we're signing people up for classes at Kneecap. So if anyone wants to get involved, shoot me a message. You can check us out at kneecapnetwork.org. You can find me there. It's just, my email is just Cameron@kneecapnetwork.org. If you want to get signed up, you can come do it there. And really, it's just cool to see people back in the studio. We're giving tours again. I'm really excited about the event tomorrow and just having all of these actors and filmmakers and editors and just first-time filmmakers and long-time filmmakers. I expect to see a lot of familiar faces, just all the great people that are making movies here. It's funny because I've been making movies in this town for feels like almost 20 years at this point. And it's funny because I feel like even 10 years ago, I could count on one hand the amount of people that were actually making movies and getting things done. Now, all the time, constantly, I'm meeting new people that are making stuff that I've never heard of before. But I want to meet all of you. So I look forward to seeing you tomorrow night here at the Peg Studios. So, Big Fella, you got anything else for us before we wrap this thing up?
Man, I just want to say thank y'all so much. Not only for doing this Feel Good Friday, but for keeping the community alive and keeping that 48-hour film festival, giving people an opportunity to just dive in and get it done. That's what it's all about. And without things like this community would be whack, So thank y'all so much, so much. And I'm excited about meeting y'all tomorrow. We're going to have us a drink and toast to the 48-hour film festival in Kneecap. Boom.
Thanks for having us.
Give me that website one more time.
It is 48hourfilm.com/Nashville.
And Ken, any final words?
See you tomorrow. Hope you come join the fun. Find a team and make a film.
That's awesome. So that's about all the time we have for today. Before we go, I just want to say that we want to thank our guests for joining us here on Feel Good Friday here on the Kneecap Network. Remember, you're invited to join us in person for a live taping Saturday, July 24th at Kneecap's Peg Studio on the campus of Nashville State University for the 48-hour film festival Tips and Tricks panel. Doors open at 5:30 p.m. or catch a live broadcast right here on the Kneecap Network. We hope this Feel Good Friday lasts all weekend long. And until next time, I'm Cameron McCaslin, along with my co-host, Big Fella, signing off from Nashville, Tennessee. Have a great Feel Good Friday.